It's Wednesday, January 9, and time for your Barbados Today Morning News Update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. It's back to work for striking public service vehicle operators this morning as the new body representing them prepares to meet with officials of the Transport Authority in a few hours. The meeting comes on the heels of yesterday's strike action by some drivers that resulted in long delays for commuters at several locations across the island. Spokesman for the group, Fabian Wharton, told the reporters last night after workers had spent the day in discussions at the headquarters of the National Union of Public Workers that normal operations will resume as they outline and discuss with the authority issues affecting them.
The meeting for tomorrow is scheduled at 10 o'clock. I am assured that meeting will go on. I have been guaranteed that meeting will go on. There was a general, and the reason we took so long to decide what we're going to do next is because there was a general feeling among the membership of frustration. Here we go again. So they are not going to meet us. That is the general consensus. So we have been given the assurance that the meeting is definitely on for 10 o'clock in the morning. So we will attend that meeting and establish protocols and means for going forward. As I would have advised the grouping, don't expect me to return and say, we got this, we got that, we got the third, we got the fourth. It's not going to work that way. We already know these things. So we need to have that, all we wanted to do was to have that conversation as it relates to how we do business and the things that are affecting us.
Meanwhile, the Barbados Agricultural Management Company, which manages the local sugar sector, is optimistic that a settlement will be reached during retrenchment talks with the Barbados Workers Union today. BAMC General Manager Leslie Parry says today's meeting is geared towards finalizing the number of workers who will be sent home from the company on the government's restructuring program. At the same time, he revealed that the outcome of a separate meeting at a date to be determined between the BWU and workers of the wider cane industry could have an impact on the start of this year's crop.
It's subject to further discussion with the industry now, not just the BAMC. And those discussions would no doubt center around the things like the pay and conditions of work and so on for workers in the industry. So that meeting will be with the independent producers as well as the BAMC.
Advocates for the disbanding of the Common Entrance or 11+ exam have found a strong ally in the form of the head of the School of Education at the University of the West Indies Keyville campus. Professor of Education and Director of the School of Education, Joel Warrican, contends that Barbados and the rest of the Caribbean are subjecting Class 4 children to an assessment system of a questionable origin. The educator, however, admitted that it would not be an easy task to convince the decision makers to change, that the change was necessary. And while he was not against assessment before entering secondary school, he told Barbados Today he was concerned about the current system.
I think it should be disbanded, totally disbanded. I support an assessment system, but as Mr. Cumberbatch from the Registrar of CXC said, it is really not just about saying you're disbanding an exam. It is really about having an exam that you can use, an assessment that you can use to get the relevant information, the necessary information about a child, so that you can help them. So that you see that this child did poorly in mathematics, and the area in mathematics that they're struggling with is fractions. How do you help that child? Putting something in place to help that child. So when they go to secondary school, they should not just be going transport to secondary school, but that information from that exam, that assessment, should follow them, and you use that to build a program to help them. Right now, what we use the exam for is to just say we are allocating you to a top school or a bottom level school, not necessarily to help the child.
Meantime, the confusion and anxiety over mistakes in the grading of the Caribbean Examination Council's school-based assessment or SBA projects are now resolved. That's according to CXC Registrar Glenroy Cumberbatch, who says the regional examination body introduced a new fix for the glitches which plagued the online uploading for project scores in 2017 and to some extent in 2018. He says the technology will be introduced in time for this year's sitting of the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate exams.
Before, what you used to have is sheets of paper where you have to enter scores in and then send those scores forward. And obviously you can get transposing problems with those. If you don't do them properly, you can get transposing problems. Plus, we have gone to a technology environment and we're trying to make things a lot easier. Yes, the process of uploading the scores is done, but we had a new system that we use for uploading SBAs, and it did have some teeth and problems. We were hoping to introduce a revised version of it in 2018. Unfortunately, that was not ready for 2018, but it will be ready for 2019.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We continue with news from the region. St. Lucia's Police Chief Sevra Mosheri says new security measures are being put in place following a brazen break-in on law enforcement property. Police say the thieves stole cash and gained access to numerous administrative offices where sensitive documents are stored.
What was not stolen, according to Police Chief Sevra Mosheri, were passports from the Immigration Department, which was also breached.
Passports are not kept at this office, so there is no way passports could have been stolen from that department. This department deals with citizenship, and it has nothing to do with the Citizen by Investment program. I need to make that quite clear.
During the Lamar Building burglary, thieves gained access to the Vulnerable Persons Team Office, the Criminal Records Office, the Criminal Administrative Office, and the Immigration Department.
Right now, we have not ascertained whether any documents were taken. However, when the investigation would have concluded or would have ripened, we would now know, exactly if any documents would be taken.
Big money cash transactions are not typically made in any of the infiltrated police offices.
That report from HTS News Force in St. Lucia. And finally, on the international scene, the military is helping police after sightings of a drone temporarily halted flights at Heathrow Airport on Tuesday. Scotland Yard said a full criminal investigation into the incident was currently on the way.
Reports of drone sightings shut down London's main airport, Heathrow, on Tuesday, just weeks after a similar incident caused holiday travel chaos at another major airport, Gatwick. This video shows planes stranded on the runway at Heathrow. The Gatwick incident affected more than 140,000 passengers over the course of 3 days, but no hard evidence ever emerged that the drone flights actually happened. Heathrow has bought systems to guard against drones, and Gatwick said it had invested several million British pounds in military-grade anti-drone defence equipment to discourage future incidents. Drones are a safety concern because a collision with a plane can cause major damage, and criminals can use them for more nefarious reasons.
And that report from Reuters Television brings us to the end of your morning news update. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.